Hi, everyone. Welcome to In the Paint. I'm Marissa McNeese with the Chronicle Telegram. Filling in for Bull this week, we have Rob Polinsky from EOL. Rob, thanks for filling in.
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks for asking, Marissa.
Bull is down in Arizona with the Indians enjoying that sunshine while we're up here in the cold.
Exactly, but you know what? Bull deserves it, so we're
He
happy
does.
that he's out there for us. He's doing a great job with his
That's right.
reports.
Well, we're officially in postseason, both boys and girls. So let's recap a little bit of the regular season for the boys before we dive into the postseason. Rob, let's start with Midview. I don't know if you got a chance to see Midview this season, but they won their first outright SWC championship since 2016, and that is a team that is playing really incredible basketball heading into the postseason.
Yeah, they really are. I only saw them once. It was over the holidays when they played at that holiday tournament at EC. They lost to a really good Northwestern team, which is a power in Division III. In that game, Johnny Manning, was in big time foul trouble, so he didn't play very much. So I haven't felt like I've really seen the real Midview because I only saw him the one time, and like I said, Manning was sitting out. So they've had an incredible regular season, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, I got to see them a little bit. They played Amherst for the second time. It was, their only loss was early season to Amherst. Host them later in the season. They were honoring Coach Troy DeFranco, and Johnny Manning had a great game then. And he has averaged 18. He's had a double this season, 18 and 11, nearly 12, 11.6, and 1.4 steals, 2 blocks a game. I mean, he has been just from the start of the season to now got to be one of the top players in the area.
Yeah, for sure. He's their leader. He's a 4-year starter. He's been with Coach Brabenick since he's been there.
Right.
So, Coach Brabenick has never coached at Midview that Johnny Manning wasn't part of the team. This is Johnny Manning's team, but they have other role players that have really stepped in, done their job, and basically Manning does everything but drive the bus.
Right, absolutely. Speaking of one of those role players, we have Nico Vidal. He set the single season 3-point record. That's just seems like a really well-rounded team and really one to watch as the tournament gets underway.
I agree, and it's kind of interesting because they're the 2 seed, even though they had a much better record than Lorain. But the Titans will say they played a much tougher schedule, and obviously until somebody beats Lorain locally, I think they're always going to be considered the top dog. So if those two would get to the district final, which looks pretty likely, that could be a heck of a district championship if it's Lorain against Midview.
Right. I mean, there is an argument to be made for Midview. I said last week, after the tournament draw, I looked at them as really a 1A and 1B, and until they play each other, we really won't know. But two teams that have, deserve those 1 and 2 seeds in that bracket.
Agreed, and really, it really doesn't matter if you're the 1 or the 2.
Right.
If Midview wants to use it for psychology to try to motivate themselves, but to me, what extra motivation do you need in the postseason other than you lose and you're done?
Right.
I mean, there really isn't any other motivation. But if Midview wants to use that, more power to them. But I think they both look like they're going to make the district final unless there's some huge upset.
Right. Well, let's move on and talk about that Lorain County League. What a wild finish to that conference. We have a 3-way tie, Columbia, Keystone, and Oberlin winning the inaugural Lorain County League Championship. Columbia traveled to Keystone last Friday, needing to win it outright. They lose, Keystone wins, and Oberlin beats Clearview. They all share the title.
Right, and it kind of, I don't know how you feel about it, but Marissa, to me, it seemed appropriate this year with the way the conference went. There wasn't one team that just stood out and ran away with it. So because nobody could ever really, take advantage of that league this year and get a huge winning streak and set themselves apart, it just seems appropriate that 3 teams share it. And basically, you had 2 championship games on Friday because, like
Absolutely.
you said, Keystone defeats Columbia, and that meant the winner of Oberlin Clearview was going to get a share. So congratulations to those 3 teams, and also to the Clearview Clippers, because at one point this season they were 3 and 11, and yet they put themselves within 1 game of a championship. That's unbelievable.
It really is.
That you go from 3 and 11 overall to give yourself a chance to share a title.
It really reminded me, this conference, of the SWC and how those usually play out, teams beating up on each other week in and week out. Were you surprised to see what unfolded with the Lorain County League this year?
A little bit. I thought, everybody was saying in the preseason, Firelands was the team to look out for with their bigs. They were going to be a tough out. I knew there were a lot of teams that felt that they could, have a say-so in the league. A little surprised nobody stood out, but I think each team kind of went through some adversity throughout the season.
Certainly.
All kinds of different things, injuries, whatnot. And I guess it doesn't surprise me that much that when you play each other twice, It's so hard that second time because the coaches know each other, the players know each other. It's really hard to get those sweeps over good teams. So I'm not really surprised that nobody was able to really step up.
Right. Well, another team we have to mention as they head into the postseason, Elyria Catholic. That's a team ending on a 5-game winning streak, heading into the postseason, including it started off with that huge win over Fairview. Again, a team that was on a losing streak in that first half of the season, and I think Coach Rob Palmer might agree they're starting to play their best basketball when it counts.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to last year. They had a pretty decent run over at Garfield Heights, and they lost to a really good Lutheran East team. This year, they're going to go over to Bedford and see what they can do. They're the 2 seed, and the top seed is Fairview. As you already mentioned, they defeated Fairview to kind of get this late regular season run going. I would think EC is the type of team that nobody wants to see in the tournament. You get a big guy like Branson Taylor, along with their guard play. I think the Panthers are going to be a tough out.
I think so too. I got to see them a little bit this season. It's a team that sometimes struggles to play together as a team, but when they're clicking, they're really dangerous, as Fairview saw a few weeks ago.
And they're deep, and they've got some guys that come off the bench that can contribute. And when you get that, it can really help because a lot of teams this time of year, Marissa, in my opinion, they're going to have 2, 3, maybe 4 players. But the Panthers have 7, 8 kids that can contribute, or even more than that. Right. And I think that really makes you a tough out.
All right, well, let's move on to the girls, shall we?
Sure.
They're into the district rounds for the postseason. We only have a few Lorain County teams left at this point.
Yeah, it was kind of a disappointing sectional season, in my opinion. We've got 4 Lorain County schools, including 2 tonight. When you've got North Ridgeville, who's playing Cinderella, they're going to take on Westlake. It'll be the 3rd time they've met. Westlake beat them twice in the regular season. North Ridgeville, though, defeated Avon Lake last week, and they had lost to them twice in the regular season, so who knows. Second game, Amherst going up against the top seed, Olmsted Falls. So both Lorain County teams will be considered underdogs for tonight. Tomorrow night, I think it could be potentially a really good game. Firelands and Rocky River. Another rematch late in the regular season where Firelands lost to Rocky River. Rocky River's the 2 seed, Firelands is the 3. Even though Firelands has a better record, I think people consider Rocky River's conference tougher than Firelands.
I think so too. And of course, Elyria Catholic girls, continue to roll and certainly the favorite in that district.
Well, no doubt about it. And I think they're also fueled by the fact that they were 1 step away from state last year, and they stubbed their toe in that regional final, and they want to do whatever they can to get back. And I think the Panthers in girls basketball are really going to be tough to beat, and I would expect them to go to Cuyahoga Falls. They've got Warrensville Heights tomorrow night, and then Saturday night, if they win, they'd have that district championship against either an undefeated Independence team or a Lutheran East team that, quite frankly, I don't know that much about either one of those.
I want to look back at Division I a little bit with North Ridgeville and Westlake and Amherst and Olmsted Falls. Do you think, 2 underdogs, like we said, is there a chance that either of those teams moves on to the final?
I think it's going to be tough. If I was going to give one team an edge to do that, it would probably be Amherst with Amaya Staten. And when you've got Amaya Staten and Faith Lewis and Coach Valadez in his second year, and last year they got to district play, and they had a really good district semifinal before they got beat. I would give them a little bit of an edge over North Ridgeville to get there, just because for North Ridgeville, they were a 6 seed. They were 12-12, playing against a really good Westlake team, which is 20-3 and has only lost to 1 Ohio team. That was Olmsted Falls. They got beat by 2 out-of-state teams in a Christmas tournament. So I think it's going to be hard for either Lorain County school to make it out tonight. But if I was to say one would have an edge, it would be Amherst slightly.
I'd agree with you there. Okay, well, it's time. Our weekly segment we do, Rob, is our first Federal Savings of Lorain Teams of the Week. For the boys this week, it was tough. I have 2 worthy teams, but I'm going to give it to Oberlin this week, needing to win and didn't really know their fate going into the game. They had to win to at least give themselves a shot to share the Lorain County League title, not knowing what would happen with Columbia and Keystone. They got the job done against Clearview to claim a 3-way share of the Lorain County League title. So Oberlin is my boys' team of the week, and I'm going to give Rob the girls' team.
All right.
What do you got?
Thanks, Marissa. I'm going to go with the aforementioned North Ridgeville Lady Rangers. Coach Esser in her 13th year, the Rangers had a tough regular season. I think they were that one team that people thought, well, maybe they could have a little bit better record, and for whatever reason, it didn't come across. They've got a really young team, and for them to bounce back last week in the sectional final, defeat your defending Division I district champs, Avon Lake, a team you lost to twice in a regular season by double digits, to go to to go to Avon Lake and do that, to upset the Avon Lakeshore Gals. My first Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week for girls basketball is the North Ridgeville Lady Rangers.
Great. Well, congratulations to those two teams. Rob, what do we have on the broadcast schedule the rest of the week?
All right. Well, thanks for asking, Marissa. For tonight, we've got the Division I doubleheader at Elyria Catholic. If I get out of here in time, it'll be North Ridgeville and Westlake. And then the second game is Amherst against Homestead Falls. Tomorrow night, we've got another girls district doubleheader. Game 1, I'll be over at Elyria for Firelands at Rocky River if they let me do the game. And then tomorrow night, we'll have Craig Couch with Warrensville and Elyria Catholic. That'll be at 7:45. So a couple of doubleheaders each night. Friday night, we know we have 2 boys games. Elyria Catholic will take on either Oberlin or Berkshire. That's at 6 o'clock on the radio. We'll follow that at 7 o'clock on Stream 2 with Columbia and Smithville. That game will be joined on the radio as soon as the EC game wraps up. So those are our games for sure. And then on Saturday, if we have local teams playing in girls district championships, we'll have all those.
Great. Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining me this week. I appreciate it. Bull, hope you're enjoying the sunshine. Maybe bring some back with you when you come back.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. And for all of us here at In the Paint, I'm Marissa McNeese with the Chronicle Telegram.